Hello, and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Parked Cars with Emily. So I'm really excited about this show. I was really looking forward to it for multiple reasons, which I'll get into, but I can't wait to tell you guys about it. So the show that we'll be talking about today is AJR's One Spectacular Night. And so let's just get into it. So one of the reasons I was super pumped is because they had 3 different show times. So they had UK showtime, which was at 3 p.m. our time. They had an 8 p.m. showtime for our time, and then they had a 4 a.m. showtime for Asia. So I was really excited because I bought the UK ticket and was able to watch it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon instead of having to wait until 8 o'clock at night. So that was actually really awesome. So I really was excited about that, especially with a month-old baby. Definitely was a bonus for me. So I appreciated that. Even though I wasn't in the UK, my, IP address was still going to be working. So that was definitely, first off, awesome. So what they did was they had a pre-show, which was actually kind of cool. So they had an hour pre-show, so you could go to doors an hour early, and they had like trivia. They had their parts of their documentary in there, docuseries in there. They had a preview of their new video, My Play, which is out today technically, once I post this, and they also had like a making of their new album, OK Orchestra. So I was actually it was okay. I'm not a huge fan of the docuseries, but I really liked the making of. They sat like on a roof out in the cold in New York City, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, so I liked that they actually like did something to kind of get people excited for their show. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, let's get into the actual show. So they opened the show with a conductor, who was a legit conductor, which we found out after the fact, but I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so it was a conductor who was conducting people at a stand with an electronic drum kit on the stand, and they were all playing like their own part. And so yeah, it was pretty cool. It's like you get this, like the back of this conductor is like lit by red in the front. And so he was conducting, and then, you see all these people sitting at stands with the classic hat that Jack always wears. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. And then they did a compilation. So they did kind of like all of their songs, pieces of it, kind of all mashed together. So it was pretty cool opening. And then all of a sudden it was like everyone kind of got up and threw their chairs away. And you realize that AJR was part of that, band or orchestra, I should say. And so that was pretty cool. So then they went, their video wall lit up with like a black and white city scene, and they played Next Up Forever, which is their first song off of their newer album Neo Theater. And so that was pretty cool. It was nice. I liked that first song. I thought that was a good intro and a very cool way to kind of get people in. And it was also really cool because they had like really close-up shots like of their faces. So I thought that was actually kind of cool because obviously even when you're in the first row, you're kind of below them usually. So I thought that was kind of neat they were so close up. So I liked that. So the second song, which I don't know what it was. Sorry. So they, on the like video wall, which was basically like the whole, like one wall of whatever, the room, I guess. It was an apple orchard. And so they had like a little treadmill, which was again, part of the pre-show that you found out that they had this treadmill on the stage. So it looked like they could walk through the scenes, on the background. So like at one point, Jack just like picks an apple out of the screen. It was pretty cool. And then he's on a harness all of a sudden, and he like literally climbs up a tree and is sitting on one of the branches on the tree. So that was like really cool effect. I really, really liked that. I thought that was a really neat thing. So yeah, then after that, they kind of introduced the band. They introduced themselves. They had a drummer and a trumpet player who was an additional, not part of the AJR Three Brothers thing. Then they played Bummerland. And they actually had a car on stage with a inflatable flamingo on top, although technically it wasn't on stage, it was like off stage. So basically they like rented out this huge warehouse, and they just had all these different things set up around the warehouse. And so that was one of the things they had, right? They had a car with a inflatable flamingo. So yeah, so that was fun. And then after, like, at some point, someone came and like literally lifted him up off the car, like when he was getting down, and carried him like onto stage. So that was just like a funny, like, random thing, but it was hysterical. It was like such a great transition, because you're like, what, is he really gonna carry him all the way back? It was pretty good. I really liked that. But yeah, it was like cool, because even when he was being carried, you could kind of see like the track for where the cameras were and like all like the behind the scenes stuff. So I actually really liked that. I thought it was a cool, like, they weren't trying to hide anything, right? Like, you could see the people who were doing things and carrying things and moving things and plugging things in and taking things out and like pushing things. So I actually really liked that. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, it kind of gave you this like behind the scenes feel, but then it also like didn't really feel like you were just doing like a behind the scenes documentary. It was like a concert. But I don't know, I really liked it. I thought that was a cool, and I like that they kind of didn't try to hide things from you. They were pretty transparent. So they explained, they went to the virtual clapping, and so they had stomping and cheering and clapping. So they kind of talked about that for the people. The only thing that sucked about that was that you had to not be in full screen mode. So I was watching it in full screen mode, so I couldn't cheer or clap or stomp or whatever. So that was kind of one thing that I was not a huge fan of. So then they played Netflix Trip, which I actually really liked. So they like went off stage and so the five of them, right? The three brothers and the drummer and the trumpet player kind of stood in like a line. And so as the camera pans out, you see more and more people in the line. And then the last person in the line came to the front of the line, and the last person came to the front, like as it's still panning. So it was really cool. I really liked that, actually. I thought that was really, really well done. And it was just like such a simple thing, but it had such a like cool effect. And I really, really liked that. So I was like, wow, I'm really impressed. And then they played the Office theme, which was great. It was so good. Love the Office theme. Been watching a lot of Office recently. Thank you, Comedy Central. So then the video wall turned into like this giant sheet of paper, and Jack, like, there was like a rip in the paper, and then he like pulled the paper down, and there was a like sketch drawn pencil, and then when he pulled it down, it was actually like really a sheet of cloth, and then behind the cloth was an actual real giant pencil. And so then he took the pencil and started drawing shapes. So he drew a circle, and the circle floated up, and he drew a triangle, and the triangle floated up. All of this is on the video wall that he's drawing these shapes. And so then he draws a rectangle and a doorknob, and like a little mini him comes out of the door and is like trying to get out. And so then he erases the doorknob, but then all of a sudden someone opens the door, like a hand pops out and redraws the doorknob and opens the door. So that was pretty cool. I really liked that. And then a cartoon version of Jack comes out and starts drawing pieces, and Jack draws a piece too, and then their pieces together drew a guitar. And then all of a sudden a guitar came down from a real legit guitar, not a drawn guitar. So that was pretty cool. I really liked that effect. It was really, really neat. And again, just like fun and like creative, and I thought that was cool. So yeah, then they played Sober Up, which was awesome. And then right after that, they went into Come Hang Out. Again, awesome. 2 great songs right in a row. They ran off stage at that point for their next song, which is my all-time favorite. I love that they always play it, and I hope they keep always playing this song. So they played Weak, which, again, this is the song that got me into them. And so the fact that they still play it, even though it's like an older song, I just love it so much. And they had a really cool, so again, they were off the main stage at this point, and they had an awesome laser show. It was so cool. And they just like lots of different like shapes and lights and colors and stuff. So I really liked that. And it was like all on the floor, and it kind of was like up behind them. So the camera angles were really good for that song. And it just really, again, the laser show was really impressive. I really liked it. So then after that, Adam talked about his PhD, and again, and like the fear of talking about his feelings. So again, this is like all in part of the transition. So he's walking to like the next stage as everyone else is kind of getting ready around, which again, I thought they did really well. They did a really nice job of kind of like transitioning between songs. And so I really liked that, yes, it was a transition, and it was clearly a transition, but you're still getting like good information, and it's clearly leading up to what's going to be the next song. So the next song was Karma. And so Jack was laying on a couch with a shrink who was not actually a shrink, even though the conductor was real. The shrink was not. Um, and so yeah, so he's like literally laying down playing a guitar. So that was pretty impressive. And the rest of the band was on the stage. And so at like halfway through the song, Jack gets a coat, goes onto stage, starts playing the drums. So the drummer like gets off the kit and Jack gets on the kit. And then it starts snowing on stage, like legit snowing, which was pretty cool. So yeah, so while they cleaned the stage, they said they were checking the comments and they set up like a little laptop so they could see them. Then after that, they played Break My Face, and then they started playing 3:30. So what happened with the video screen at this point is it became like a graphing paper board. Like it just had like squares as I'm greatly explaining this. And so there were clouds. And so the trumpet player she was walking on the treadmill as she was playing each song. A cloud would pop up with the song title. So that was pretty cool. It was like, again, a compilation of all their songs. And, you know, obviously they did a great job of piecing it together and having a transition from one song to the next. So yeah, so it was really neat. They had, again, 3:30, Pitchfork Kids was one of them. A whole bunch of their songs was just kind of gone through with the trumpet, and it was really impressive. And, you know, she's a great trumpet player, so it was really cool. So then Ryan came with a stand-up piano, a white piano, and he played Turning Out Part 2. So I really liked that. It was, again, like a slower song. And then all of a sudden, like, again, he's attached to a harness, so you know something cool is going to happen. Did not expect something as cool as it did happen, but so he gets like lifted in the air by, you know, his midline or whatever, and he's still playing the piano, and the piano kind of rises up a little bit with him. And then all of a sudden he's like literally upside down. So he's playing the piano and his feet are all the way up in the air. Like, it was just so cool. And at some point he did transition. So he played Turning Out Part 2 at the first part, but then like during the bridge it changed to Turning Out, which was awesome. And it was like so subtle and I loved it. And I was like, wait a minute, this is definitely a different song, but technically, I don't know. It was great. I really liked it. So yeah, it was really good. I thought that was great. Okay. So then after that, they went into like a park bench. No, they went into a park bench and they tried to make it look like a park. They had like fake trees in the background, and they had an open guitar case so that people could throw money in, which people legit did walk by them and put money in, which was kind of a cool effect. Again, just like a small stupid detail, but I really liked that they kind of like really tried to make it seem like an authentic thing. I liked that. So anyway, for that one they played Wow, I'm Not Crazy. And they ran back to the stage halfway through, and then they played Don't Throw Out My Legos, which I really liked that song. I thought it was really well done. Really, really enjoyed that one more than I thought I would. Not that I wasn't looking forward to that song, but I just was like, kind of like, wow, this song was like really good live. I really liked it. So I really liked that one. Okay, so then after that song, a giant hand like comes down on the screen and pulls Jack up, which again, if you had seen like the previews of this show, you kind of had seen that set before. And so then another hand comes in and flicks him and he goes tumbling and he starts to fall, but then he gets caught. And then two more hands show up like sideways, and he kind of gets like, starts like high-fiving them, and it becomes the beat to the next song, which was Birthday Party, which was pretty cool. So I liked that. Again, that transition into that next song was amazing, different, something that was totally unique. So I really liked that. And then after Birthday Party, they did My Play. And so they said that they had never played it before. So I thought that was kind of cool to be like seeing it for the first time live. And they had like a really like dramatic lighting. So there was one light above Jack, and then there was like a whole bunch of like very direct straight lights over Adam and Ryan. So that was pretty cool. I liked, and it was just like simple, right? Because it's like a slower song, but it's still, again, it still like had this effect that made you think like, oh wow, this is like a unique, different thing from what they've done previously. And it's simple, but it's like not impressive yet still. Like, I don't know. I thought they did a really nice job with like the slower songs and making it really cool. So again, guys, this was an awesome show. So then a ladder gets brought on stage, and this is where my whole mind just gets totally blown. Like, just so good. This was definitely my favorite part of the show. So they play Burn the House Down, and Jack goes up on the ladder, and then he suddenly like jumps or is off the ladder, and this like laser bridge appears, and it looks like he is walking on this laser, and you can tell that he's not, but it's so good. It was so well done. He did such a good job. It was so cool. And then all of a sudden the bridge like blinks out, and he starts to fall, but then the bridge blinks back in, and he catches himself on the like bridge, and then he's just like hanging there, and it's just like so cool. It was such a cool effect. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was so cool. That was the best part. It was great. And also like a great song. So good. Oh, it was just so good. So good. So then after that, sorry, I got really ahead of myself there. Wow. Yeah. So then after that, they talked about how they make their songs, which again, I have seen a couple times before, but it was, you know, just part of their show that I come to expect now. And not that I don't like it. It's cool. It's definitely cool. I mean, I could never do that. So it's awesome to hear how they do it. And yeah. So then they went into Bang. And then after Bang, a lot of fog like came on the stage, and Jack was sitting in a like canoe, a boat of some sort. If it wasn't a canoe, sorry for all of you canoers. And then he played Dear Winter. So like right after the first chorus, something happened. I don't know if his mic fell or whatever, but they needed someone to come on stage. Like the whole thing just like stopped. And someone came on stage and fixed something. There was definitely a technical difficulty. And he was like, sorry about that. We're just going to ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. And they're going to pick up the song at the second verse. So he started playing the song at the second verse after that. And then once that song was over, they played Finale, with just like everyone on stage. So that was nothing like crazy cool. Still good. Nothing crazy cool though. And then right after that, they went into 100 Bad Days. So, right as the bridge started for 100 Bad Days, all of a sudden this message like pops up on the screen. It's like, so we were trying to think of like an appropriate time to like send you this sentimental message, and we thought like now would be appropriate. And so then they like typed out this whole like, thank you, this year has been rough, we like appreciate all your support. And then when it came back, they had these like suits on, these like light up suits that made them look like stick figures, right? So they had like the round faces, and then they had like a light going down their center line, and then their arms, and their drums were lined. They had like the floor drums, and they were lined. I don't even know if that's the right word. If it's not, I'm sorry. So they had the drums lined in lights as well, so you could tell that they were drums, and then their sticks and stuff. It was just awesome, and it was a super cool way to end the show. And then again, like right at the end of 100 Bad Days, they kind of did a little compilation with the drums, and it was awesome. And like even the screen had like layers of them, like it almost looked like they were repeating over and over again. So it was really cool. I really liked that way to end the show. All right, this is a long one. Sorry, guys. So after the show, they actually did a Q&A, which was pretty cool. I stuck around for that. So let's give it a grade. Well, let's go back. First of all, the one thing that I will say, I have a friend who went to the London show and also got a ticket for the United States show. And so I was interested to see if it was going to be different or the same, because if it was different, technically they'd be working for like over 12 hours straight, right? You start at 3:00 p.m. one time, and your last show is at 4 a.m. That's like a long day. So I was interested to see if they were going to do the show after show or what. A little disappointed that they did not do show after show. It was the same show. At least that's what my friend said. So that was a little disappointing. And again, I'm not saying that like they did an amazing job in this show. But if I had seen the US show, knowing that it was the same show as the UK show, I don't know. I would have been a little disappointed. I mean, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. And even like the interview afterwards was the same. So I don't know. I just feel like if I had bought a US ticket, I would have felt like I was a little bit robbed maybe from like an actual like live experience. But other than that, the show is amazing. I mean, just Burn the House Down was so fantastic. Week was so good. And again, maybe I'm a little bit biased towards that song, but I really thought the laser show was really cool. And just this different like settings and the way that they interacted with the video screen and each other. And I really liked that one song with the when they lined up. I thought that was really well done. I really liked, again, it was like such a simple thing, but it had such a powerful impact. So overall, I'm gonna give this one an A. I mean, I did not have like almost a single complaint. Like, they did so well. The only thing that I didn't necessarily super notice was like differences in the songs, but it was because everything else was so distracting. I don't even know. It was like I couldn't even think about that because I was just so glued to the screen. It was so wonderful. It was really, really well done. And, for something that's virtual, and I mean, it definitely grabbed me in and it kept me in for the whole hour and a half. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. And I hope more bands can like experiment with this type of show, like just having this like space to kind of do whatever you want in it. Like, I loved that. It's like all these different settings were in this huge room that they could just like go to. It was awesome. It was really cool. So yeah, let me know what you think, comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.